What's up everybody? It's your boy Proftrof and we're back again with another video. This is another Warhammer 40K video. Top 10 biggest badasses in Warhammer 40K by Majorkill.
Major.
La. Okay, I've seen this dude in the past for some Warhammer fantasy lore videos, and he is awesome.
Having another go at 40k lore after the last video was underwhelming. But as the saying goes, if it doesn't work the first time, it somehow Gaz survived through the Allahu Akbar and rolls his suicide bomb chair into the mouth of some big ass tyrannid cunt, and he could be higher on this list than some great warriors who effortlessly kill thousands with their big ass god swords. So no emperors and no primarchs and no big dick demons. Sorry, Horus. Let's get into it. Starting with number 10, we have the second most powerful human psyker after the god emperor himself, Malkador. Now, Malkador wasn't a hunking giant or an unkillable
This dude? Why does he look like he just fucking ran out of prison? What's up with these chains and this rag?
warrior. He was an old, frail looking man.
Dude looks like he just escaped Dark Souls 1 and didn't restore his humanity.
However, this list isn't about a list of roided up Christians. Malkador was already a badass for serving as the Emperor's regent and laying down the foundations for many key organizations to rise, such as the Imperial Inquisition and the Grey Knights. This cunt was also the first Grand Master of the Assassin's Guild, making him already more badass than Ezio. There was a special incident where the Primarch Lorgar was being a dumb fuck and decided to force conquer worlds into religion when he was supposed to do the opposite. Well, he was supposed to conquer them, but he wasn't supposed to, like, slap them with the Bible. Malkador was like, cunt, what the fuck are you doing to the Primarch? So Lorgar, naturally, had a roid rage and backhanded Malkador, sending him flying 20 meters through the air, a hit that would have killed any other mortal man. Malkador simply just got up and dusted himself off. Yes, he had a few cracked bones and he limped around for a while, but copping a hit from a Primarch and getting back up is pretty fucking dope. However, Malkador's true big dick moment came in the pinnacle of the Horus heresy. With Horus attacking Terra itself, Malkador sat upon the golden throne and used his very...
Okay. Horus, the dude we saw from the last video, the first of the chosen of the Emperor, right? That's the Horus. And Terrari or whatever he called it. That's Earth in 40k, I think, right?
Soul to keep the warp
like
at
the
bay,
main planet.
allowing the Emperor to face and kill Horus, saving the Imperium. When the battle was won, Malkador was discovered on the throne, driven insane by pain, and his body was beyond mutilated from the effort of holding back the warp. He was taken off the throne and immediately turned to dust. From henceforth, he was called Malkador, the sick cunt. Fine, it was Malkador the hero, but my version's better. I know. Eldor are a bunch of sex-obsessed pussies, but I'm gonna chuck Margun Ra. Forgive my pronunciation, by the way, guys. I'm from Down Under. We have simple names. We don't call ourselves Margun or Malkador. But I'm gonna chuck Margun Ra on this list anyway, because this cunt is fucking sick. Margun Ra was a top dog on the craft world Altan's.
My boy looking like a predator from Alien vs Predator.
Altansar, sure. Which was one of those big ass ships that didn't get instantly anal raped by Slanesh. Unfortunately for the Altansar, they were caught in the Eye of Terror's gravitational pull, and despite their best effort, got sucked into what can only be described as a terrible tourist destination. Margun was resourceful, however, and escaped the disaster that befell his people. Seeking to aid his Eldar brethren in unconventional ways, Margun fought against many threats to the Eldar. He was a renowned Tyrannid stomper, as he often single-handedly defeated entire swarms. When Abaddon, the chaotic cunt, came forth to invade the galaxy for like the 30th time, he left a big-ass warp portal just lying around. Now, Margun, being the big badass that he is, saw those warp portals as a great opportunity to look for his craft world that got sucked into the Eye of Terror thousands of years prior. Amazingly, he actually found his craft world in the warp, and it was still intact and populated. For the most part. He guided his people out of the Eye of Terror, which isn't a very common occurrence, to be honest. His people had a fair share of PTSD from the whole 10k years in hell situation, so none of them remove their armor anymore, and they only speak in whispers. They also are shunned by the other Eldar, as they're wary of the fact that these cunts somehow didn't all die.
What?
Like, usually people die pretty quick in the warp, but not these guys. It doesn't matter though. With Margun as their commander, we know these Eldar are going to kick some serious ass. Alright, it's time. Bring out the roided cunts, the Space Marines. Kicking us off with one serious motherfucker, we have Kaldor Drago, who, if you believe some fan theories, is one of the only characters from 40k to make an appearance in Warhammer Fantasy as well. But let's save that for
Who
another
is he
video.
supposed to be in for?
To give our grey nigger a little intro, his first ever battle recorded for another video. To give our grey nigger a little intro, his first ever battle recorded ended in him cutting the nuts off a greater demon called Makar and saving an entire planetary system. He then rose to become the supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights by kicking the ass of a demonic Primarch. Eager to get revenge on Drago for slicing his nuts off a few hundred years earlier, the great demon Makar returned and began fucking shit up. Not wanting to get his fellow Grey Knights into shit, Kaldor went off to kill Makar and his army by himself, which despite sounding like a terrible idea, went surprisingly well for Drago, as he slashed and burned through hundreds of demons until he was face to face with his old nemesis. The two powerful warriors fought, with Makar gaining the upper hand. Just as Kaldor was about to lose the fight, he decided not to lose the fight, and he stabbed Makar through the heart, once again saving everyone. However, as the demon was getting pulled back into the realm of chaos, he pulled a bitch move like the Balrog and grabbed Kaldor and pulled him into the realm of chaos with him. This was to be Makar's greatest mistake, however. Where most men would have instantly gone insane and died, Kaldor decided to fuck shit up as he ran around the Chaos Realms, absolutely slaughtering the shit out of every demon he found. He burnt Nurglite forests, tore down Tit-Snitch's cities, murdered Slaanesh sluts, and curb-stomped greater demons of Khorne like they were nothing. It actually got to a point where the demons were like, fuck this shit, and did everything they could to avoid encountering.
Okay, this guy is basically the Doom guy from Doom. Is that it? The Doom guy from Doom.
Kaldor. Even the Dark Gods themselves were powerless to stop Drago. However, despite him being an absolute badass rapist in the realms of chaos, there was not much meaningful impact he could have while stuck down there. This was not to be his eternal fate, however, as every few hundred years when chaos invades the galaxy, he's able to temporarily step out of the warp and kick ass for humanity before then getting dragged back to Syria. I mean the realms of chaos.
Syria.
And he hasn't even complained about it once. Going a bit more green for Earth Day.
Okay, this guy is in 8. First the mage, then the Skodu, then how is this guy in number 8? He is a monster. What the
we have the prophet of Gork and Mork himself, Gazkul Mag Urak Thraka.
Is this guy gonna dance like the dude from Fantasy Warhammer? What was his name? The dude with the boar?
I think I nailed that personally. However, we'll just call him Gaz because fuck saying that name. While pretty much every greenskin war starts spicy but quickly sizzles out as the orcs lose momentum, Gaz's war just doesn't stop. However, before we talk about him when his balls were massive, let's talk about when he got his head blown apart by a mortar shell. Despite a large portion of his brain being turned to mush and leaking out, Gaz stood back up and just kind of stumbled to safety, holding his brain juice in his hand. He then received what can be described as an unsanitary operation on his head, where some random greenskin cunt with an arts degree replaced most of his brain with wires and squig juice, and then he just welded it all together with adamantium. When, he somehow woke up when Gaz...
He's Wolverine. What is this? Why is everyone taking inspiration from some shit? This dude's Wolverine.
Somehow woke up from the strange surgery that probably had about as high mortality rate as a Polish Jew. He was reborn, full of strength and with a vision to lead the biggest war in the galaxy had ever seen. If only I got these visions when my brain explodes. Gaz was now a prophet of Gork and Mork. His first act as their prophet would be to survive a hail of bullets and then headbutt a war boss to death. This was just the start, as our boy then went on full to conquer all the orc tribes on the planet. And there were quite a few orc tribes because the planet was called Orc itself. With the planet conquered, hundreds of orc ships arrived as they felt the psychic pull of a war forming. Gazkul's or Gaz's superior intellect was used to hold the horde together, as the orcs worked together like fucking ant colony.
His superior intellect after losing most of his brain. Only an orc can become smarter after losing their brain. I just gotta say that.
From here, old mate Gaz went from strength to strength as he dominated this Chaos Space Hulk and flew into the warp. He chilled out there for a while, growing his army and arsenal while killing a ton of demons, before he eventually left the warp and crash landed on the Imperium and planet of Armageddon. And a Space Hulk isn't a small ship, this was a big fucking crash and a lot of cunts died in it. The entire planet became a battleground almost straight away, however, as Commissar Yarok of the Imperium was having none of Gaz's bullshit and started pushing his forces back, giving his men enough time for the Space Marines to arrive and to skullfuck Gaz's army to death, saving the planet. Somehow Gaz survived through his extremely thick plot armor, and then he kept attacking the planet, and it was a bit of a mess each time. And you know, it still isn't a place you want to visit, like a lot of cunts have died there. The moral of the story is if there's
A lot of people have died on the planet Armageddon. Huh.
something worth fighting, Gaz has fought it. Now on to Farseer Eldritch.
Okay, I was just gonna say this. How is this orc more badass than this fucking dude? The dude that went into the Chaos Realms, did not die, started fucking shit up, and then leaves the Chaos Realm every couple hundred years to fuck more shit up.
Now, I know. One Elder on this list was bad enough, and now there's two, but hear me out. Farseer Eldritch isn't a badass because he wades through battle swinging his overbearing cock
Okay, for all my League of Legends buddies, doesn't this dude kind of look like Master Yi?
around. In fact, this Farseer is a badass because he is pretty much able to avoid every battle ever, regardless of the consequences that it incurs. Farseer Eldritch is an extremely powerful psyker who is able to see the future and is fiercely protective of the little Elder that remain. As such, if he foresees an Elder Craftworld getting into shit, he will fuck over everyone and anyone he needs to in order to save that Craftworld. For example, if he foresees a greenskin War heading towards a Craftworld, he will manipulate an Imperium fleet into being in the War's way, letting them fight it out as the Craftworld escapes. To save 10,000 Elder lives, Eldritch has sacrificed millions of humans through his manipulation of war. Before being
Fucking
a ruthless
aliens.
cunt, however, Eldritch was actually, he used his powers for good. He used his incredible perception and abilities to try and help the other races. He was the first person to try and warn the Imperium about the Horus Heresy, and he has prevented the
He has the, what was this called in Yu-Gi-Oh?
the rise of many
I'll
potential
stop.
threats and defeated a shit ton of Chaos forces and Tyranid swarms. Despite being a backline psyker, Eldritch engaged in a hand-to-hand fight with Abaddon the Despoiler. Eldritch kicked the shit out of Abaddon with his fucking staff and was about to clap the cunt when Chaos Gods pulled a bitch move and teleported Abaddon away. Eldritch got a big little, he got a little big for his boots, however, and he tried to awaken the God of Death, which is the Elder's trump card, as they believe the God of Dead will be able to shoot up Slaanesh and then fuck the bullet holes, leading to the great return of the Eldar race. This plan failed, however, and through a few more careless acts that cost the lives of a lot of Eldar, Eldritch was banished from his craft world. He doesn't really give a fuck though, so after saving some Imperials and Eldar, he came back to his craft world to fuck more shit up. Oh, did I mention that Eldritch once took on a corrupted Primarch? It didn't go well for Eldritch, but props for the cunt to trying. This next lad on the list is a Blood Angel, which already makes him a badass.
Okay, now this dude looks like the Blood Dragons from Warhammer Fantasy, no? You know those undead knight things?
But it's what he overcame
looks like
as a
it.
Blood Angel which really sets him apart.
Blood Angel.
I'm talking about Mephiston. I hope that's his name, that's how it's
No
spelled.
idea why.
Originally known by a more basic bitch name, Mephiston was a Liberian psyker of the Blood Angels. This might make him sound like a bit weak, but Librarians in 40k are absolute death machines, so he's sorted in that regard. During one of the many battles on the planet of Armageddon, Mephiston was buried alive. For days he screamed in pain and slowly tore himself out of the tomb, all the while battling for control of his sanity as the Black Rage, an affliction of the Blood Angels, took a hold of him. By the time he crawled out of his makeshift tomb, Mephiston had become the first Blood Angel to overcome the Black Rage and channel its power into himself. He was instantly attacked by a group of greenskins just after escaping the rubble. However, this was a fucking terrible idea by the greenskins, as Mephiston started ripping them to shreds with his bare hands. Eventually the greenskins legged it when Mephiston punched a hole clean through their commander and ripped out his heart. Mephiston quickly rose in the ranks of the Blood Angels, as he was shown to be one of the most powerful psychers that the Imperium had at the time. He became Chief Librarian and used his power to rip open the arseholes of any enemies of the Imperium. When one of the Blood Angels declared he was a reincarnation of Sangurius, the dead Primarch of the Blood Angels, Mephiston was like, "Not sure if serious, let me check this out," and went over to have a look. Due to his incredible perception, Mephiston quickly deduced that the Blood Angel was not the reincarnation of Sangurius, he was merely a pawn who had been corrupted by chaos. So naturally Mephiston was about to fuck this chaotic pretender in. However, the brother of the delusional Blood Angel arrived and was like, "No, I must fight him instead, it's my destiny." So Mephiston was like, "Oh, okay, go ahead, buddy." And then the Blood Angel brother killed the chaotic Blood Angel. I should just really use their names for clarity, shouldn't I?
Probably.
Anyways, then a Lord of Change appears out of nowhere, but he got fucked to death as well. The best part of this is, during all this skull fucking, Mephiston once again got taken down by the Black Rage. However, he then once again conquered it, and maintained his sanity. Being able to beat the Black Rage once is insane in itself, but doing it twice is just ridiculous and badass. The next bit of meat on our sexy list is a man who definitely does not want to be on this list. The reluctant war hero who is somehow still alive, or was.
Yo, this dude looks awesome.
Alive.
What is this?
Seamus Kane. Kane was an Imperial
Kane?
soldier with an irrelevant origin story. What is spicy about this lad is the fact that he isn't a superhuman or a psyker or augmented above anything usual. He's a typical run-of-the-mill dude who survived some of the most horrific battles in the Imperium. He originally...
And look at him, bro. He looks like a beast. Kind of reminds me of Captain Jack Sparrow a little bit with the facial expression and the...
wanted a desk job or to work as an artillery crewman, aka not on the front lines, but he constantly found himself neck deep in Eldar, Necrons, Tyranids, Orcs and Chaos. It was quite common for Kane to end up as the sole survivor of his regiment. Unfortunately for Kane, his ridiculous survival skills made him a war hero across the Imperium, so his superiors constantly just sent him back on suicide runs to boost morale. Each time, Kane came back.
Jesus! Are we sure he's not enchanted? What are those guns, my guy? Look at that gun, bruh. Jesus, bruh.
Success or not. And he was then after that just sent on an even deadlier mission afterwards. It was ridiculous. Don't get me wrong, this cunt is a war hero. Like, he's fucked shit up and killed many enemies of the Imperium and led his forces to victory many times. His prowess with a chainsaw has been admired even by the enhanced Space Marines, and he was so good with his pistol that he's able to use it well beyond its effective operational range. What makes this badass a bit of a meme is the fact that when he finally did die, the Imperium ignored it and declared that he was still active in the battlefield due to how many false KIAs and MIAs Kane has accumulated. This makes Kane the only soldier in the Imperium to be on active duty despite having an official military funeral. You get it, man. Coming in hot with our next green boy, we have Tusker the Demon Killer. What I really like about Tusker and why I rank...
So these things still exist in 40k, those faces with legs. What are they called? I forgot them. They have them in fantasy.
him higher on this list than Gaz is the fact that this cunt has no divine protection or plot armor. He's a bit of an angry, murderous motherfucker, and then he decided to take on Khorne, the chaotic god of war. This all started when Tusker's ship was randomly attacked by a bloodthirster of Khorne. Tusker killed the beast in a duel, and from it gained an intense hunger for war. He drove his ship straight into the Eye of Terror and started anal fucking Khorne's armies, eventually arriving at a planet owned by a legendary chosen... Stop Snapchatting, cunt. Owned by a legendary chosen demon prince of Khorne, known as the Blood Prince. The battle between Tusker's horde and the Blood Prince's forces was legendary, and came to a peak when Tusker and Myr engaged the prince in a duel, which would decide the outcome of the war. Despite being a massive badass, Tusker didn't have Gork and Mork sucking his dick like Gaz did, so Tusker took heavy wounds and was driven to his knees. Just as the Demon Prince was about to finish off Tusker, I fucking kid you not, the cunt jammed his power claw straight through the Blood Prince's dick hole and mutilated the shit out of his nutsack. The Blood Prince was obviously not a fan of this development and proceeded to kill Tusker and his army. However, this was not to be the end of Tusker's legend, as Khorne himself was so impressed with the spectacle of bloodshed that the Orcs delivered that he revived Tusker and brought him to the gates of his brass palace. Now, every day, Tusker leads his war against Khorne's armies, only to lose and begin the cycle every day. And Tusker is completely cool with this, as this is probably...
Whoa. In which religion is this a thing? I know this religious thing somewhere with something. For sure. I know this from somewhere.
The most fun he'll ever have.
This event.
To optionally go and fight chaos purely for fun is bad and ass enough. But to then get chosen by Khorne for killing his own men is on another fucking level. Getting towards the end of this badass list, we have our first and only chaotic entry. And this is obviously Khan the Betrayer. If any of you wanted Abaddon on this list, then fuck off. That cunt sucks dick. Like, he got out-dueled by a fucking elven wizard in hand-to-hand combat, along with failing every crusade he's ever attempted. I don't care that it was a recon to be part of some big spectacular plan. Abaddon sucks. Khan, on the other hand, is a murder fuck machine.
Jesus,
Already a brilliant yet unstable warrior before the Horus Heresy, Khan was chosen by Khorne due to his insanely violent battle technique, which basically revolves around charging into the thickest part of the battle with a big fuck-off axe and swinging it around like a madman, killing friend and foe alike.
Jesus.
His mental state has deteriorated so much that he often cannot distinguish between ally and enemy, and he just kills whatever's in his path. The cunt even has a kill counter UI on his helmet. Like, I'm pretty sure he's clocked millions of kills with just his fucking axe, which is made of teeth of a space dragon. During the final battle of the Horus Heresy, Khan was again on the front lines, however got pretty fucked up and was basically a mangled corpse when his soldiers found him. He somehow made a full recovery, either due to being a massive hard cunt or Papa Khorne throwing him a bone. Either way, this cunt needed a vacation or something. Turns out his ideal vacation is in the Eye of Terror, looking for people to kill and a planet to call home. He eventually found some shitty demon world that was already occupied by another group of Chaos Marines, so began a massive war between the two factions that resulted in the planet getting super cold somehow. So cold in fact that during the night a Marine not under protection of shelter would freeze to death in seconds. So naturally the Marines were like, fuck this, and called it a night and a truce, and everyone was friends, and they all went to bed. However, Khan was having none of this shit, and he decided that a bit of chilly wind was piss weak reason to seek shelter, so he proceeded to just start burning everything with a flamethrower, and he killed everyone he found, regardless of whose team they were on. This earned him the title of Khan the Betrayer, as all the Marines left on the planet descended into a savage state and just fucked each other to death. Now, Khan travels the galaxy, looking to add anyone and anything to his already fucking ridiculous kill count. What a badass little sausage. And finally, the most badass motherfucker to wander around the 40k universe. He's no god, or super soldier, or demon, or avatar, or anything, which makes him all the more badass, even 10 times more so. I give you, drumroll, that hurts my fingers as a glass desk, Ibram Gaunt. Starting off this lad's story, we have a very large chaos invasion that destroyed his planet, along with most of its defenders, the only survivors being Gaunt and the regiment he led. Now, if Kane was the reluctant Imperial commander, then Gaunt was the fucking hard cunt, who was as badass as he was solid. One of his early acts before his planet got raped was to challenge his uncle in a chainsaw duel after Gaunt discovered his father died due to his uncle's cowardice and betrayal. Despite suffering disembowelment, Gaunt chain-fucked his uncle to death and avenged his father. Good start. Jumping back to the juicy shit where he just got off his dead planet, Gaunt transformed his surviving soldiers from ragtag survivors to extremely lethal guerrilla warfare specialists, earning his regiment the title of Gaunt's Ghosts. He became feared by the Imperium and Chaos alike for his vicious and quick surprise attacks, while also dragging his gigantic ballsack across the face of any he deemed corrupted in any form. On top of this, he leads his men from the front. He wields a blade that can cut through tanks. His first true test came when he fought and killed the Chaos Warlord during the Battle for Vergast, and from there his regiment went from victory to victory, saving countless Imperials and turning the tide of dozens of battles. Gaunt deeply cares for his regiment as well, hence why he saved them from his doomed world, instead of letting them just fight for honor and dying for nothing. He is a virtuous leader and his men respect him for it, rather than fear him, which is more common in the Imperium. Gaunt is utterly incorruptible, which is nearly impossible for a mortal man to achieve. Once captured, Gaunt was horribly tortured and had his eyes ripped out. When he was eventually rescued, the first thing he said was, "Stop putting my regiment in danger, you fucking ketamine-sucking shit cunt." When a mortal man who isn't chosen by any god and has no augmentations or mutations becomes an uncorruptible bastion of hope for the Imperium, you know that cunt is a total badass. Oh yeah, and he survived the war. As you do.
As you do.
That does it, ladies and gentlemen. My top 10 most badass 40k motherfuckers who weren't demons or Primarchs or...
Well, fucking damn, bro. That was awesome. I'm gonna be honest with you. This guy's probably my favorite. Where is he? This dude. This dude sounds like a fucking monster. I mean, these guys are awesome as well. This dude and the final dude. Like, this dude... Jesus Christ. Anyway, let me know what y'all think. Who's your favorite out of these top 10 dudes? And I'll see you next time, buddy. Have a nice fucking day. Like, comment, subscribe, and bye-bye.